Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Monday, it's 9 o'clock, it's time for a 5x5. This is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject and then I move on to the next subject. It's always quick, it's always snappy, you never know what you're going to get. And today, I'm going to be talking about what I'd like to see happen in 2024 from a creators and a magic industry point of view. There's a lot of magic creators within the magic industry. We're seeing more tricks coming out now than ever before. And I'm kind of in a unique position because I'm a magic creator myself, but at the same time, I'm also a reviewer. So I review magic, but I also create magic. And I've got some interesting ideas as to what I think should happen in 2024, because there's lots of things that are being done great. There's some amazing tricks that are hitting the market. There's some wonderful products and, really super smart, well thought out stuff. But then there's stuff that comes out that's just really not very good at all. So what would I like to see happen in 2024? Well, you're about to find out. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to see happen within the magic creating community in 2024 is I would like to see creators stop being lazy and making excuses up as to why XYZ company has screwed them over or XYZ company has screwed them over. I see it happening quite a lot. I see it happening on Facebook groups. I see it happening on Instagram. I see it happening on discussion forums. There's a lot of creators, new creators generally, and what they do is they kind of bitch and they moan and they complain about everything. There's one particular creator that's out there that I'm just ignoring, that's trying to get my attention, and I know this person wants me to do a video on them, and I really can't be bothered, to be honest. But I see some of the stuff that this person posts, and they constantly go on about how this company screwed them over and how that company screwed them over and how it's never their fault. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Oh, I can't deliver on the thing I was meant to deliver because of this. Or I can't do what I was meant to do because of that, or this product would have been successful if it wasn't for this company, or this company, it's almost like conspiracy theoryism, but attached to the magic industry. It's kind of like, all of the magic production companies are out to get me. They're lying to you, and then what they'll typically do is they'll blame other creators and they'll say, oh, I can't believe that this creator releases stuff and does so well and nobody buys my stuff. Why is that? And they're always looking for some other reason as to why it's their fault. Or as to why this thing's happened. It's never their fault. It's always something else. I'm friends with a lot of the people in charge of the various production companies, and I've been told by at least 3 different production companies that they have been contacted by other creators who they've said no to for a particular product, and their response has been, but why do you work with Craig Petty? He's overrated. All of his stuff is just recycled garbage. He puts 9-hour tutorials together where he talks about absolutely nothing. He spends 5 hours talking about an invisible deck like he invented the invisible deck. Why are you working with this guy? It makes no sense. You obviously are biased. It means that you don't like me. You don't like my product. You're happy to just settle on mediocrity. I've heard it all a million times. And for those creators that do that, for those creators that have reached out and blamed other external sources, you want to know why so many production companies want to work with me? And I've mentioned this before on the channel. It's not rocket science. It's not difficult. You have to understand, whatever the production company you're talking about, whether it be Penguin, Alakazam, 1914, Murphy's, Illusionist, whatever production company it is, they want to make money. They are a business. They are a business of making money. So if they are going to every time somebody goes and wants to work with them, they look at it on a basically a product by product basis, and they try to work out whether that product is going to make them money, because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of outlay in order to produce a product. It really does. It can cost a small fortune to produce. Take the Nightshade coin set, for example. The amount of money that Pete Nardi had to put into that, and it's a risk. You know, he literally put in, I don't know how much, but tens and tens and tens of thousands of pounds. And it's a risk. Will that money pay off? Will he break even? Will he make a profit? So you want to know why so many production companies work with me? There's a few different reasons. The first reason is I've got a track record of having tricks come out that people buy and they're happy with. And that's because people know that I put 110% into a product. The reason a lot of my products have got long tutorials is because I've thought every aspect of that trick out. When it comes out to market, it has not been half-assed. It has been thought out to the nth degree. And you know at that point, you're getting every idea and concept I have with that particular product. It's also been road tested. So as well as that, I'm really easy to work with. People want to work with me. You know, they know that I will go above and beyond to make it happen. I'm not a diva. If anybody wants anything, it will happen in a minute. I had a phone call from Peter Nardi about a product that's coming out in February, wanting some ad copy. At midnight, I wrote the ad copy for that product and sent it over to him. Another example is Murphy's. I've got a trick coming out in a couple of weeks with Murphy's, and the product was done. As far as I was concerned, the tutorial was done. And then an opportunity presented itself where somebody else wanted to be involved in the product, a huge name within the genre of the product that, you know, we're talking about here. And I rang up Murphy's and I said, look, I will organize the venue. I will organize filming. I will organize getting you this footage. It's going to make the product so much better. If I can get it over to you by XYZ, can we include it on the tutorial? And they were over the moon. Oh yeah, absolutely, that's fantastic. Do we need to do anything? No, it's all done. And I left at 5 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m., organised Nemid Phoenix to come with me, and we filmed this extra tutorial to go onto this product at the Magic Circle headquarters. I left at 5 a.m. in the morning and then came back to do a gig later on that evening. Like, that's going above and beyond. People know that if they work with me, they're going to get 110% because I want the product to be the best it can be. And then I've built up a following. I've built up a following of people who will literally, follow me to the ends of the earth because I put up so much free content. Do you know how easy it is? Do you know how difficult it is, to put up the amount of content that I do for free? And I know there's going to be people that are watching this that go, oh, Craig's only in it for the money. He produces content and puts it on for the... No, I don't. Do you know those lectures that I put up on Boxing Day and Christmas Day? I probably could have gone to Alakazam and sold those as an academy. And they would have said yes, because they love having academies off me. I probably could have gone somewhere else and done it as an online lecture. I could have sold them as downloads myself if I wanted to. I have the technology through the Netrix. There's a million different things I could do with it. But I put it up on Magic TV for free. How's that about making money? You look at something like the videos I've put up in the past, how to run an awesome kids party, how to run a parlor show. A lot of magicians would charge 400 quid for that, and they'd say, oh, masterclass in how to run a parlor show, full live performances of every routine, absolute breakdown of everything. Here you go, you have $400, you get a masterclass. I just gave it for free. Yeah. The thing you need to understand is I spend a lot of time and effort putting content up for free. And one of the reasons I do that is because I want to give back to the magic community. But the other reason is it's because I've got a bunch of people that listen to what I say. They follow me on YouTube. They follow me on Instagram. So when a trick comes out with my name on it, I have an audience there that trust me because they watch all of my videos. They've bought tricks off me before and they know that they're good. And so I have this built-in audience which really helps, and production companies like that. And I'm not shy about promoting my own stuff. You want me to go on an interview? Great. You want me to go on a podcast? Great. You want me to promote it in any way that I can? I will. You want me to do something? Absolutely not a problem. And you know what? Then you've got these lazy creators that create a trick, release it through a company, it doesn't do very well, and they bitch and moan. It's not their fault. It's the fault of the production company. It's not because their trick was substandard. No, it's the production company. It's not, it didn't sell very well, but that's not because of them. it's because of the production company. I've seen magicians, creators that have created tricks and they never even mention it on their own socials. The trick drops, the company's talking about it, but they're not. They don't mention it on their own socials. They don't mention it on Instagram. They don't mention it on Facebook. They expect the company to do all the work for you. It's a two-way street. My attitude is that when the product drops, that's when I start work. That's when the hard work starts. And, you know, the first thing that I would like to see happen in 2024 is for creators to stop being so lazy. Instead, I'd like to see them being accountable for their own actions. Level up. You know, spend more time building an audience. Spend more time working with the production company instead of against them. Spend more time helping to build up a product and putting yourself out there so that your product will be a success. And that when if it's not a success, stop bitching and moaning. It's not my fault. It's not my fault at all. It's the fault of the production company that put it out there. It's the fault of they had a deal that they wanted me to take and then they didn't give me that deal and now they're mad. Oh, shut up. It's your fault. Everything in life is your fault. If you're happy where you are in your life right now, if you're happy with where you are and what you're doing, congratulations, well done. That's your fault. If you're not happy, then fucking change it. It's as simple as that. Pull your finger out and change it and actually put some hard work in and some effort in. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not easy to be a creator in magic. You have to have a thick skin. You have to deal with a lot of crap constantly, and it's very, very hard work. And you live and die by your latest release. Not everyone can do it. You want to do it, great, do it. But don't bitch about it when it doesn't work. Okay, so the second thing I'd like to see creators do in 2024 is actually start including live performances on the products. This is something that has been driving me up the wall when I review a product. You know, there's so many companies that do it well. Penguin are a perfect example of a company that does it well. I've just looked at On the Up by Cash and Wallace, and there's like about 7 or 8 live performances. I love it when I see live performances. I really do, because honestly, when I see a live performance, it shows me that trick has been done in the real world. Here's the thing, right? The amount of, you know what, it can happen, but generally as a rule, there's more chance that a trick is going to get a bad review, from me at least, and Ryland. There's more chance that a trick is going to get a bad review if it's not got a live performance. Because if we're looking at something and it doesn't make any sense, and it's like a 10-minute tutorial and there's no live performance, I've got no frame of reference. If I go, I don't think that's going to work in the real world because of this, if there was a live performance, I could go, well, okay, I can see that potentially could work that way. I didn't look at it from that point of view. But without that live performance, I don't know. And why shouldn't you include a live performance these days? Now, I know that there's going to be people that are going to be going, well, the youngsters these days have got it easy because back in my day, we only had a sheet of paper and you had to read through the sheet of paper and there were no instructions. There were no tutorial, no live performances. People have it easy these days. And yeah, that might be the case, but wake up and smell the coffee. It's 2024. We have the technology. We should be embracing it and using it. It is so easy to have a live performance these days. If I wanted to get a live performance of any of my tricks, I could literally grab a freaking iPhone, go out 10 minutes away from the office, and I can go out and get in as many live performances as I want to. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm getting live performances for all of my products that are coming out in the first and second quarter of Alakazam. I went to Alakazam, I filmed a load of stuff. There's a couple of things that are coming out of Blackpool, a couple of things that are coming out after Blackpool. And, you know, it would have been very easy to just say, oh, I'll just get the performances in the shop at Alakazam and we'll do them on some customers. That's not a live performance. So instead, I'm going out and I'm getting Alakazam to pay for Nemid Phoenix to go and get live performances for all of the tricks. And we're just going to go around the bars in Birmingham and get live performance after live performance after live performance, because then it's going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to make the trailer look better. If you've got live performances on your trailer of people reacting well, Well, that means that there's more chance that people are going to like the product because they can see it working. Second of all, it's going to make people like me believe that it's actually possible to do your trick in the real world, because there's no reason why it shouldn't have a live performance on there. I can't understand. If you've got a trick that you're prepared to release to the magic community, then I assume that you think it's a finished product. You've thought it through, it's ready, it's good. It's ready to be released to the magic community. Right? So, my question is, if you've not got a live performance, why not? Because if it's worked through, if you've worked it in, or you've had somebody else work it in for you on your behalf, why would you not have a live performance? Now, you might go, well, Lloyd Barnes doesn't have live performances on his products. No, he doesn't, because he's not a performer. But he gets other people to do live performances for them, normally the people that have worked it in for him on his behalf. There always should be live performances. Live performances show people that this trick is possible in the real world. It also is extra value. You know, it's just, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a full unedited live performance. Just take a freaking iPhone, go out with the trick, get a mate to hold the iPhone and film the bloody trick, and then put it up on the project. And if you're not doing that, I can only assume that your trick is shite, and instead you've decided to release something that's substandard that you can't do a live performance of, because you just know that when you take it out into the real world, it won't fool a blind monkey. That's why you haven't got a live performance on there. Prove me wrong. Tell me a reason why it shouldn't be on there, because it's so freaking easy to do it these days. I can't understand why nobody wouldn't. Okay, so the third thing that I'd like to see happen within the creator industry in 2024 is regarding hype. Now, I am fully aware that I'm going to split the room here. I am fully aware that this is the point where people are going to go, Craig's talking out of his arse, and that's absolutely fine. But I think that there's no problem with hype. I really don't. You know, I've got a trick coming out through Murphy's soon, and it's called Evoke, and I can't really talk about it yet because the trailer hasn't dropped. I wouldn't be talking about it at all if there hadn't been a thread that had started on the Magic Cafe. I spoke to Murphy's. I've got no idea how that thread got started on the Magic Cafe, and nothing to do with me. But a thread got started on the Magic Cafe about Evoke, and people kind of trying to guess what it is, which is fine. So I went on there and I said, hey, great news travels fast. Unfortunately, I can't really say anything about this because it's not officially released yet. I can't believe that there's even a thread on this, to be honest. But what I can tell you is I think this is the best trick that I've ever created and released. And I'm not just the only person that thinks that. There's several other people that think that as well. A lot of mentalists within the community have raved about this and said how amazing it is. As soon as I'm able to share more information with you, I will. And then there was somebody that went on the cafe and said, he said, oh, here we go with the hype. Here we go again with the hype. And I was like, I don't really see I'm hyping this. Like, I didn't start the thread. I didn't talk about the trick. You know, if I didn't go on there, that kind of would have been a bit rude that I've had a trick of mine tagged on the cafe and I've not replied to it at all. But you know, I've gone on there and I've made a statement, and now I'm accused of hyping up the trick. And the guy was like, no, you could have been more humble and you could have said, oh, thank you very much. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be humble because I bloody think this trick is amazing. And I should be allowed to shout about it from the rooftops. I think it's amazing. And here's the thing about hype. I see it all the time. Oh, I'm sick to death of Murphy's hyping up the latest trick. Just you know, put it on the shelf, and then if people will buy it or not buy it, that's fine. It's marketing 101. If there's one thing I love more than magic, it's marketing. And in any industry at all, anywhere in the world, marketing is important. If you're selling a product, if you're selling a service, then you damn well better master marketing. Because if you don't, you're not going to have a business for very long. And that includes professional magicians. There are magicians that moan about hype that do that exact same thing when they're selling their own services as a magician. They'll go, you know, I've seen so many magicians post in 2024 going, I've got a brand new show for 2024. This is going to be amazing. The show reel's going to drop soon. Who's excited to see my show in 2024? I've got new tricks than ever before. Or just the act of putting a show reel up there or a live performance. You're hyping up yourself as a performer. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Look at cars. You know, I don't really drive. Well, I don't drive. Not really. I don't drive. But I do know that when a new car launches and it's a high-spec, high-end car, there's normally a big song and dance about it. I know that because I've been hired to do car productions at trade shows in the past. Well, hang on a minute. Isn't that hyping up the new product that they've got there? Isn't that like, okay, I'm going to make this car appear? Isn't this like a bit hypey? Why would they possibly do that? That's not a good thing to do. Why would they want to hype it? If the car's good, it's going to sell itself. It's total, complete and utter bullshit. The fact of the matter is, hype. There's nothing right. Like, okay, people say they don't like hype because they get drawn in by the hype and they buy something that it maybe doesn't fit them and they feel cheated. Well, don't buy it then. Hold off. Don't allow the hype to get you. But you can't moan at a company for hyping up their trick, for marketing their trick. And I think the hype police have gone above and beyond recently. I think it's just got fucking ridiculous. I think that people on Facebook and people on the Magic Cafe, the second that somebody mentions their new trick or drops a trailer, it's like, oh, here it is. The hype's begun again. As I say, it happened with my new trick. I didn't even fucking talk about my new trick. I didn't even mention my new trick. I didn't even say anything about my new trick. Somebody else started a thread. I just commented on there and it's like, oh, here he comes again. Craig hyping up a trick. Well, if you actually look at any product that I've ever bought out, I've never actually, other than the Quantum Deck, fair play, other than the Quantum Deck, which had a fair bit of hype attached to it, and I'm not embarrassed about that because that's fucking marketing. But, you know, outside of the Quantum Deck, I don't really talk about the product beforehand. In fact, I'm purposefully cagey about it. Like a lot of the time with Alakazam, for example, the first time you'll hear me even talking about a product is when the live launch happens. That's the very first time. Even now, this trick, Evoke, it's going to drop in about a week's time, maybe 2 weeks' time. I don't know the exact date, but it's definitely going to be mid-January. If I was hyping it up, I would start right now on this video. I would be talking to you on this video about Evoke and how amazing it is and how many wonderful people have said wonderful things about it. But I'm not. The only thing that you're going to find that I've said about it is on the cafe where I made a reply to somebody else who started a thread. So that's not hyping it up. Now, when it comes out, when the trailer drops and everyone's talking about it, and there's a discussion on the Magic Cafe and there's a discussion on Magicians Only and God knows where else, will I then be hyping it up? Will I be answering everyone's questions? Absolutely, because that comes down to part one, lazy magician, lazy creators. That's part of my job as far as I'm concerned, answering people's questions, hyping it up. I'll probably do a few videos on Magic TV. I'll probably get Ryland on his socials to do a trick or two with it because he's been working with it for a while. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be raving about it, and I won't be shy to talk about it because I think it's amazing. Any trick that I've ever bought out, I think's amazing, because if I didn't think it was amazing, you wouldn't know about it because it would never see the light of day. So yeah, I'm going to be hyping it up, or I'm going to be talking about it, answering questions, but you're not going to see me really mention it that much on the lead up to the trick coming out. But even if I did, there's nothing wrong with that because it's hype. It's marketing. That, again, it comes back to the fact that Murphy's run a business. Penguin run a business. Vanishing Ink run a business. And so, therefore, they need to make sure that when they release a product, it's successful. Because if it's not successful, then that business is going to go under. Look at all the magic shops that have gone under recently. Look at Davenport's. Went under just before just after COVID. I can't remember, but it went after all these years. Why? Well, it's because nobody. They were stuck in the dark ages. Their marketing was terrible. They didn't really have an online presence, and unless you were a magician, you didn't really know about Davenport's. So obviously they're going to go out of business. I could point out a ton of shops. I could point out a ton of production companies that have gone out of business. And the reason is they haven't mastered marketing efficiently or effectively. Why are Penguin doing so well? Why are Vanishing Ink doing so well? Why are Illusionists doing so well? Why are Murphy's doing so well? Why are Alakazam doing so well? What have they got in common? Well, they've got no problem of shouting about their products and hyping them up and talking about them. If you don't like hype, then don't fucking watch the video. If you don't like hype, don't buy the fucking trick. If you don't like hype, then don't buy into it. You see a video going, hey, this is blah blah's new trick. It's exciting. Let me tell you why. Then fuck fucking just don't watch. It's as simple as that. Don't bitch and moan because creators and production companies are doing their job and they're marketing the trick. Don't bitch about that. You can't tell people that they're in the wrong because they're marketing a product that they've probably spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds on developing. And anybody who thinks that's an issue, you have no clue about business at all. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Okay, so the fourth thing that I'd like to see happen in the creator community is I would like to see half-arsed tutorials disappear and never to be seen again. Again, this comes back really as a reviewer, and I review so many products where the tutorials are terrible, just terrible. I've seen downloads for like 20 or 30 bucks on Penguin, and it's literally a bloke with an iPhone shooting a vertical video for 4 minutes on his kitchen table with his kids running around in the background playing, and I'm really not kidding about that. The amount of physical products that comes out and the tutorial is just shite. You never see the person's face. There's no structure to it at all. There's no live performance, but we've already talked about that, but it goes beyond the live performance. There's no nothing. There's no nothing there. There's no substance at all. You know, a couple of years ago, I gave a really bad review to Triple Helix, and you know, a lot of people disagreed with me. And one of the reasons I gave a bad review to Triple Helix is because the trick itself was decent, right? The trick itself was decent. The problem is the trailer showed you being able to do this walking around. The trailer showed you kind of at a festival type thing, making these decks of cards appear. And in a kind of a restaurants type situation, making these decks of cards appear. And when you got to the tutorial, they showed you how to actually make the deck of cards appear, but they never actually talked about any of the stuff that you would consider to be important. I'm talking about angle management. I'm talking about audience management. Now, maybe you could do this in the real world, possibly, if you know how to control the angles, or you know how to control the audience, or you know how to actually control the trick to make it work. But there was no discussion about that. Instead, it was just like, this is the trick. This is how to set it up. This is how to perform it. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. And that was it. And it would have had a higher mark if that stuff had been discussed. You know, I work with Penguin Magic quite a lot. And the first time I went to, I filmed with Penguin Magic, they told me something. And they told me something that stayed with me. And it's something that I do in all of my tutorials now. And it was Sean Dunn that said it to me. And he said, you know what? You need to make sure that when you're filming a tutorial, you film it so that the person who's watching it, you have to assume that it's their first day in Magic. Because somebody is going to buy that trick and it's going to be their first day in Magic and they won't have any frame of reference. So you need to cover absolutely everything. Now, people that are experienced, they can skip that section. Oh, I'm going to teach an Elmsley count, but if you know an Elmsley count, just skip forward a little bit because you're not going to need to know how to do this. I'm going to talk about audience management now. You know, you might not need to know about this. You might know what you're going to do with this, but this is something I think is really important to discuss, right? You have to treat it like it's the very first time you've ever, the very first time that somebody's watched a Magic tutorial. Case in point, I've got a trick coming out of Blackpool with Alakazam. And it's a great trick. It's an amazing trick. I can't wait for people to see this. But it involves vanishing something. So at one point, you have to do a vanish in one of the routines. For one of the handlings, you have to do a vanish. And it's the main routine that you have to do a vanish in. Now, there's 3 or 4 different ways of doing it. And one of the ways that I say is you're going to need to do a sleight of hand vanish. And I spend about 10 minutes talking about the correct way to vanish this object. And I talk about the frame of action. I talk about the psychology of a vanish. And I talk about everything, which is probably overkill. But Pete Nardi said to me afterwards, he said, that's probably the best discussion on a vanish that I've ever seen. Now, people that already know how to vanish something, they can just go and skip through that. That's fine. But there's going to be new people in Magic that are watching that tutorial for the first time, and they will appreciate me being so thorough. You know, a lot of you know, I've got a reputation for releasing long tutorials. You know, Cube 52, it was 9 hours. You know, the Nightshade coin set was like 8 or 9 hours. And one of the reasons is I want to be really thorough. A, there's lots of live performances on the project, but B, I want to be really thorough about absolutely everything. Now, in all of those projects, there's a quick start guide. In Cube 52, you can learn how the thing works in 15 minutes. Then you get to learn all the other stuff that I've come up with. But if you just want to do the trick, you can do that in 15 minutes. But, you know, that's the reason why I put so much content in there. It's because I want to be as thorough as I possibly can. And these people that do 2-minute tutorials, 3-minute tutorials, where it's just a crotch shot and there's literally a camera set up, staring at the crotch of the creator, watching them just talk about the trick, and it's obvious they've not scripted it because they can't string 2 words together in a sentence without sounding like some strange unknown sea creature. Like, you know, it's embarrassing if nothing else, and it means that if somebody's new into magic and buys that trick and ultimately ends up not doing it and therefore gets out of magic, that's on you. I think we owe it as creators to our audience to make sure that they have everything that they need in order to perform the trick to the best of their ability. And then don't get me started on freaking YouTube videos. You know, any creator, I'm telling you right now, if you're a creator and you're listening to this, if you're a creator and your idea of doing a tutorial is to throw it up as an unlisted video on YouTube, I hate you with all of my heart and soul. Because the amount of times that I get a tutorial and they're like, right, okay, it's a YouTube video. There's no QR code, for God's sake. Right, okay, youtu.be/CFDQ. Oh my gosh, what is going on? And then you go, no, it's not right. Oh, hang on, was that 0 a circle or was it a 0? Oh, YouTube is not a platform to put tutorials on. If you want to put a tutorial on something, get a paid account on Vimeo so you can have a nice little URL. You know, my shitty magic company could be your thing on there or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But do it on Vimeo. Don't do it on YouTube, because the other thing is, you do it as an unlisted video on YouTube because you don't want people to see the tutorial. You can't do it as a private video because you have to send the email address out of everyone that's got that private link. So you do it as an unlisted video. Every 3 or 4 months, YouTube take those unlisted videos and they turn them to private. And you won't even know that. The amount of times I've watched a tutorial and the tutorial video is now no longer available. It's now set to private. And can you get hold of the creator? Can you fuck? Like, it's just half-arsing the tutorial. Half-arsing it in terms of content, half-arsing it in terms of not knowing what you're talking about ahead of time. You do the tutorial and you don't really know your own trick. You don't really know how to explain it because you don't have a clue what you're doing. Like, ask anybody who's ever seen me film a tutorial. I am so organized. I come with pages of notes and I'm super organized, and you will never see me needing to do a second take because I know exactly what I'm talking about, because, shocker, I've worked the trick in the real world and I've thought through what I'm going to say. If you want to be a creator, once again, it comes back to the fact that if it's easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not easy. It's easy to half-arse it, but it's hard to do it right. You want to be a creator, get it fucking right. Okay, so the final thing that I want to say to the creator community and what I want to see happen in 2024 is I'd like to see less blockbuster trailers. That's right, a lot of magic creators these days think they're Michael fucking Bay, and a lot of trailers just are ridiculously epic. The amount of trailers that I watch, and it's like 2 minutes in and all you've seen is the magician moodily walking towards the camera, spinning a coin in his fingers like that, just doing this, and it's like dramatic music, and then it's a cutaway to some water or some rain falling down, and then all of a sudden you see one visual moment, then you see people freaking out, and then you see people freaking out, and more people freaking out, and then the person on the trailer, he looks into the camera and he goes, "Hey, my name is Billy Bob, and today I'm going to talk to you about the greatest trick you'll ever see." Now more reactions, now some lightning bolts, some more reactions, some special effects. Yeah, and then another little visual thing that you can't really take in, and it's like, this is the best damn trick you'll ever see. and it's my life's work, and I'm finally releasing it to the magic community. More live performances, more like a 2-second of a live performance. You can't really see what's going on. Reaction. People scared, running away. It's here. And it's ready. Another lightning bolt, and then he turns around and he walks away. And then all of a sudden it fades to black, and then it comes up and it goes, hey, coming soon, this product. And you're just left looking at it going, what in the fuck did I just watch? Because I have absolutely no fucking clue whatsoever about what that trick is. I have no clue. It's a something. I don't know what. I have no idea. I know it makes people scream, and I know the guy that's on the tutorial seems kind of manically depressed, but outside of that, not a fucking clue. Look, a nicely produced trailer is not a bad thing. I love seeing a nicely produced trailer. But And if you don't want to do a full performance, don't do a full performance. It's nice to release a full performance as a separate video. Again, I'll use me as a frame of reference. A lot of my videos have just full live performances. So look at Ticket to Ride. It's me going, hey, my name's Craig Petty. This is Ticket to Ride. Watch this. And it's like literally a 15-minute performance of me doing the trick at Houdini's in Kent. Look at Petty Cash. Same thing. It's me just performing the trick. There's no cutaways. There's no nothing. It's me just performing the trick. Now, that's not always the case. Look at Chop, look at Keymaster, and you'll see trailers where it is kind of more special effecty and there's a lot of reaction shots, but you can also clearly see exactly what's going on. There is no ambiguity. You know it's a Chop Cup routine and it uses a borrowed cup, and you know that there's a Bill and Lemon finale there as well. And you can see actually there's like full performances as part of the thing. Same with Keymaster. You look at Gatekeeper, it's exactly the same. Even Quantum Deck, you look at Quantum Deck and it's a full live performance. And then there's performances done to real people in the real world. You see me performing it to several different people at Smokers Mirrors in Bristol. You see exactly what's going on, right? You can do a nicely produced trailer and still show what the fucking trick is. But the problem is, a lot of the trailers that come out these days, you don't see what the trick is. You don't see it all. And you know what the other frustrating part is? There's a little bonus point here. People that put trailers together where the trailer looks epic and there's loads of reaction footage of people like seeing the trick and freaking out and so on and so forth. But then when you get the download, when you get the tutorial, there's no live performances. And you're like, well, hang on a minute. You went and got live performances because I can see them. They're on the trailer. But I just don't know what's going on because I'm only seeing the tail end of them. So why are they not included in the tutorial? Because as far as I'm concerned, there's only 3 reasons. The one reason is you picked and choose the good bits, and the trick didn't really play as well as you wanted to make it look like it did on the trailer, and so you weren't able to include it in the tutorial. Or the second option is you were getting those live performance reactions for a different trick, and then you were cutting in some footage of you performing the trick, and it wasn't actually that trick they're reacting to. That's the second option. Or the third option is the production company that's bringing the trick out are fucking idiots. There's no other option, right? I don't understand it. I don't understand why you'd want to have, loads of live performances in the trailer, because that's what's going to sell people. Live performances sell people on buying the trick because we can visualize it. Oh, I want my audiences to run away and scream as well. Ah, yeah, I like that. I want that in my life. But, you don't have any live performances on the tutorial. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I would, I don't know. But I just think that those blockbuster trailers, they need to go away. And really, we need a trailer with a bit more substance. It can be well produced, but at the end of the trailer, we need to know exactly what that trick is all about. And the ad copy needs to back it up. And if there's not a full live performance there and you can't really tell what's going on, release another video that's a full live performance of the trick. If you want people to spend their money on this trick, then show them what they're getting. It's as simple as that. Anything else is just shit. So there you go, guys. That's another 5x5 in the bag. I was very passionate about this, and I think I might have gone over 5 minutes per section. Nobody was timing me. It's Michael and Jack were busy, so if I have, I'm very sorry. Do me a favour, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? I'd like to know. Also, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a mat test, so look out for the mat test. And I'll be back at tomorrow with the mat test. I'll be back at... Wednesday's a review show with Ryan. We've got stuff going on all week, so make sure you check all that out. Don't forget that tomorrow is upload day at the Netrix. We've got 5 new tricks that are going up live on the Netrix. If you want to join the Netrix and get access to literally hundreds of tricks, thousands of slides, masterclasses, oh my God, there's so much content on there. Just go to www.thenetrix.com, go check it out and see all the fuss is about. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Craig from Magic TV.